El Deguello. The bugle attack call breaks the silence, followed by the sound of thousands of pounding feet running towards the Alamo walls. Fiery explosions light up the sky. The battle has begun.
Come on, boys. The Mexicans are upon us, and we'll give them hell.
Mexican engineer Colonel Enrique de la Peña described the scene just outside the Alamo walls.
The attacking columns, bravely storming the fort,
I'm not in front of the camera right now until I have to be. So. Thanks. And I'm going to talk kind of low because everybody's quiet listening to this right now. They want us to know if we can move further up so I don't have to whisper, but we can't, right?
The way of the more agile ones, down those who are about to carry out.
They've gotten over the walls. My gosh, we are all lost. All right, boys, aim well.
The sharp reports of the rifles, the whistling of bullets, the cursing of the men, the sighs and anguished cries of the dying, the arrogant harangues of the officers, the noise of the instruments of war, and the inordinate shouts of the attackers who, as they climbed vigorously, bewildered us all and made of this moment a tremendous and critical one. The shouting of those being attacked was no less loud, and from the beginning had pierced our ears with desperate, terrible cries of alarm in a language we did not understand.
Blood of noble men is seeping into the ground, with bodies of heroes lying cold in death.
The end has come, but with it, a new beginning. Remember this story. Remember what happened here. Remember the Alamo.
Good morning. My name is Hilario de la Peña, and I'm president of the San Antonio Living History Association. We are honored to partner with the Alamo Trust to present this solemn commemoration in which we honor and remember the supreme sacrifices made on both sides at the Battle of the Alamo 190 years ago today. On this anniversary morning, we assembled to remember the Alamo and to make a sincere gesture of historical reconciliation between the neighboring people of two great nations. At this time, I ask that those of you who will be laying a wreath, please line up along the curb near the long barrel.
Yeah, it's all going on now. I'm trying not to talk too loud out of respect for this solemn ceremony. I'm going to step out of the shot. They just did somewhat of a reenactment of the letters, you know, what they can kind of tell what happened at the Alamo. You can hear taps being played here. Truly a journey through history here at the Alamo as we mark the 190th anniversary since this epic battle. We all know what the song means here. If you've never seen it, it is a solemn ceremony and a moving ceremony that commemorates the lives lost here on March 6, 1836. This battle, which lasted 13 days, a pivotal and rallying point for Texas's independence. And during today's tribute, they're going to recognize, obviously, the 189 known Alamo defenders, and will feature the live readings, which we saw a moment ago, music, and then shortly here, a wreath laying ceremony and a musket volley. And this year's event is going to be a little different. It's going to feature a special donation from David Crockett Crockett's birthplace state park in Limestone, Tennessee. That park was destroyed a couple years ago during Hurricane Helene, and a piece of the stepping stone from the Crockett family cabin is going to be donated, and it's going to be a full circle moment. It's going to connect Crockett's place of birth with here, his place of death. Now, we spoke to a spokesperson from the Alamo who told us a little bit about the meaning behind this ceremony each and every year.
To begin lighting your candles in commemoration of the 13 days of the Alamo siege and battle.
Yeah, absolutely. So again, this event just kicking off within the last 15 minutes or so, and if you cannot be here in person, you just got a glimpse of it here. But not to worry, we're also live streaming this event right now on our website at foxsanantonio.com. You can check out the rest of the ceremony. It's going to be going on for the next 40 minutes or so. But for now, that is the latest reporting live downtown outside the Alamo. I'm Christina De Leon, Fox News First. We'll send it back to you, Fox SA.
And now, in an act of historical reconciliation and solemn remembrance of those who died on both sides of this conflict, I invite the Honorable Hope Andrade of the Alamo Trust to join me reciting the Reconciliation Peace Prayer of St. Francis of Assisi.
Lord, make me an instrument of your peace.
Señor, hazme un instrumento de vuestra paz.
Where there is hatred, let me sow love.
Donde hay odio, ponga yo amor.
Where there is injury, let me pardon.
Donde hay ofensa, ponga yo perdón.
Where there is discord, let me bring harmony.
Donde hay discordia, pongo yo armonía.
Where there is error, the truth.
Donde hay error, ponga yo la verdad.
Where there is doubt, faith.
Donde hay duda, pongo yo la fe.
Where there is despair, hope.
Donde hay desesperación, ponga yo esperanza.
Where there is darkness, light.
Donde hay tinieblas, pongo yo la luz.
And where there is sadness, joy.
Y donde hay tristeza, pongo yo alegría.
O Divine Master,
Oh Divino Maestro,
grant that I may not so much seek to be consoled as to console.
que no me empeñe tanto en ser consolado como en consolar,
To be understood as to understand.
en ser comprendido como en comprender,
To be loved as to love.
en ser amado como en amar.
For it is in giving that we receive.
Pues dando es como es recibe,
It is in pardoning that we are pardoned.
perdonando se es perdonado,
And it is in dying that we are born to eternal life.
y muriendo se resucita la vida eterna.
Amen.
Amén. Ladies and gentlemen, would you please extinguish your candles?
On this 190th anniversary of the Battle of the Alamo, we are honored to have some very special guests here from David Crockett Birthplace State Park in Limestone, Tennessee. The park was largely destroyed by Hurricane Helene in 2024. As it gets rebuilt, the team is using a mobile homestead unit to help people around the country learn about Crockett's life. You can visit it later today on Plaza de Madero. And on this 190th anniversary of Crockett's death, just footsteps from where he fought at the Palisade, the park is making a very generous donation to the Alamo, a piece of the stepping stone from the Crockett family cabin. This meaningful stone will connect Crockett's place of birth with his place of death. At this time, we invite the team from the state park to place the stone in Crockett's memory. Welcome to come up and make a statement.
Good morning, folks. My name is Thomas Batchelor, and I'm the interpretive ranger from David Crockett Birthplace State Park. And today, we have the absolute honor of giving a piece of Crockett history to the Alamo. Now, this stepping stone is more than just a way to connect the place where David's life began to the place where he made his final stand. This stepping stone symbolizes a journey that we all have to take, and that is the journey of life. And David Crockett is a man that we should all model our lives and what we do after. This stepping stone shows us the beginning of every journey is by far the most important. When you make that first step into your journey, whether it be extraordinary or mundane, is by far the most important. Because everything that happens after you take that first step becomes history. Thank you all so much for the honor of having us here today to participate in this momentous ceremony honoring the lives of those who fought, defended, and perished behind the walls of the Alamo. Thank you.
We will now begin with our brief lay.
Morning and welcome to this. In the spirit of sacrifice and remembrance, we welcome memorial wreaths and flowers to be placed in the grassy area in front of the Alamo Church. Martha Fleetus of the Alamo Mission Chapter DRT and I will join in reading the names of the participants presenting wreaths and other flower tributes to honor the Alamo defenders. Alamo Trust. Executive Director, Hope and Crockett.
The Immortal 32 Descendants and Family Association, Linda Gray.
The Alamo Defenders Descendants Association, Lee White.
Gregorio Esparza, Alamo Descendants. Orlando Huizar and Peggy Guerrero.
The Andrew Kent Family Muster Association, Glennis Becker.
Colonel William Barrett Travis Descendants. Edith Elizabeth Bullets.
Colonel James Bowie Descendants, Julie Covington, David Roth, and Jamie Grimes.
David Crockett Descendants. Harold Flannery.
Okay. Is there a sod in this hit? Is there a sod in this hit? This is my mic check.
Losoya Family Descendants, Pat Malta.
Jesse McCoy descendants, Jason and Eric Chong.
He died that will continue to live here at the Alamo. But what you're watching again is the wreath laying for everybody who lost their life here, the defenders, if you will, from the Battle of the Alamo. And you'll be watching this for a little bit longer. I'll be jumping in front of the camera to do a few more live shots, but I just wanted to let you know what you're witnessing right now.
William Malone descendant. Lynn, that's fine.
William DePriest, Sutherland descendants, Bud Northington and John McMaster.
Can you hear the programming? I don't hear anything.
William DePriest, Sutherland descendants.
So do I.
The Navarro Sisters Survivors Descendants, Alamo Survivor Descendants. Sandy Salinas.
Andrew Kent descendants. Forrest Bias.
Gordon Jennings descendants, George Lockwood.
Jonathan Lindley descendants. Bob and Joe Lindley.
PRT Daughters of the Republic of Texas Board of Management. The President General, Cora Jane Johnson, with Carla Miller and Carolyn Raymond. And Cindy Moore.
The Alamo Couriers, Chapter 13. President Patricia Bota.
Rose chapter, Secretary Nancy Zimmerman. Zinsmeister.
Alamo Mission Chapter, President Diana Arias.
The Gonzales DRT chapter, Christian Edwards.
The San Jacinto DRT Chapter, Past President Aaron B. Tynes.
The Stone Fort DRT chapter, Jean DeWaz Windsor. The Ezekiel Cullen chapter, Lois Lacey.
Alsatian Pioneers DRT Chapter.
Are there any other DRT chapters here?
Next. Intro.
The Alamo Chapter.
I'm going to go this way. Good morning, Ashley. Good morning, everyone. Right now, they just wrapped up the wreath laying ceremony. I'm going to step out of the shot. Maybe you'll be able to see a little bit. More than a dozen wreaths were laid out representing the Alamo defenders. It's truly a journey through history and representing and paying homage basically to the people who lost their lives here at the Battle of the Alamo 190 years ago today, here at the dawn of the Alamo, as this ceremony is getting ready to wrap up in the next 20 minutes or so as we mark this 190th year anniversary since this epic battle. And if you have never seen it, it truly is a solemn and moving ceremony that commemorates the lives lost here on March 6, 1836. Now, this battle, which lasted 13 days, a pivotal and rallying point for Texas's independence. During today's tribute, they recognized the 189 known Alamo defenders, and they featured live readings, musics, and then you saw the wreath laying, and coming up next will be a musket volley. Now, during this year's event, it was a little different. It featured a special donation from David Crockett's Birthplace State Park in Limestone, Tennessee. Now, that park was destroyed a couple years back by Hurricane Helene, so a piece of the stepping stone from the Crockett family cabin was going to be donated. It's going to connect Crockett's place of birth with his place of death right here. So we talked to a spokesperson from the Alamo to tell us more about that significance. Yeah, absolutely. So it really was a beautiful and moving tribute, and that piece of limestone will stay right here at the Alamo where Davy Crockett, his life ended, basically. Now, if you didn't catch this event in person, don't worry, you can check it out. We are live streaming this event on our website. All you have to do is head to foxsanantonio.com. And again, it is set to wrap up in about 20 minutes or so. I hear some more wreaths actually being laid out as well. And then after that, the musket volley to conclude this somber ceremony. Reporting live here at the Alamo, I'm Christina De Leon, Fox SA. We'll send it back to you. Okay, nonstop.
The Thomas J. Russ Chapter Number 8, President Dan Ray.
H.L. Kinney, Chapter Number 17, President James Pittman.
Adolphus Stern, Chapter 17, 19, Troy, Windsor.
Henderson King Yoakum, number 21. Ron McInerney, Bruce Williford, Ken McInerney.
Sam Houston Chapter, Rick Wreath, President.
Star Chapter number 58, Treasurer Marshall Brown, with First Vice President General Michael Wilson. And David Schuler.
Gonzalez Chapter 29, President Rick Walton, Vice President David Byrne.
George B. Erath, Chapter number 13, Waco, Texas, President Trevor Wardlow.
Good morning, Marissa. Good morning, everyone. What's happening now is a continuation of a wreath ceremony that was started about 10 minutes or so, and it is still going on. We're talking about more than a dozen wreaths, actually, that have been laid out for all of the Alamo defenders. There's so many organizations that are being represented that are just paying respects to the Alamo defenders, so many who lost their lives, and they just want to have tribute to them, each and every wreath representing somebody who lost their lives in that battle, and they just want them to be recognized right there as they lay a wreath right there in front of the Alamo. Truly a journey through history here as they mark the 190th anniversary. Now, if you've never seen this solemn ceremony basically commemorates the lives lost here. The battle, which lasted 13 days, a pivotal and rallying point for the Texas Independent. Now, again, this recognizes the 189 known Alamo defenders. It featured live readings, music, and then, of course, the wreath laying. After this, a musket volley. Now, this year's event was a little different. It also featured a special donation from David Crockett's birthplace, Stone State Park in Limestone, Tennessee, and a piece of his stepping stone from the Crockett family was donated. So it's full circle. It will connect David Crockett's place of birth to right here, his place of death. So this ceremony is going to wrap up in a few minutes or so, and if you didn't catch it in person, don't worry, we will continue to live stream it on our website at news4sanantonio.com. Reporting live downtown outside the Alamo, I'm Christina De Leon. We'll send it back to you.
West Florida Freemasons, Lynn Carter, here to honor the several Alamo defenders who also were Freemasons. Next we have in honor of the 30 United Kingdom defenders that are remembered, Mr. Clive Lynch. At that time, the United Kingdom was composed of England, Scotland, Wales, and Ireland. Friends of Casa Navarro's, Sandy Salinas.
their wreath has already been placed. The Texas Navy Association, Admiral Jimmy Peak, San Antonio Squadron, Admiral Tammy Lobot.
Pennsylvania 15 Alamo Defenders Association, Major Jeff Klein, Josh Crawford, and Alice Woods.
The 1718 San Antonio Founding Families Descendants Association. President, Lisa Santos.
The Alamo Historical Society with Bill Chamarka, Jeff Bearden, and Gary Foreman. Isaac Ryan, descendant. Lynn Landry. Squire David Ball Ashida.
Are there any others wishing to give floral offerings that we do not have on our list? Thank you.
Colonel Saeed's Alamo Defenders Burial Oration, Columbia, Telegraph and Texas Register, April 4th, 1837. Compañeros de armas, estos restos que hemos tenido el honor de conducir en nuestros hombros son de los valientes héroes que murieron en el Álamo. Sí, mis amigos, ellos prefirieron 1000 veces morir que rendirles servicio al yugo del tirano. ¡Qué ejemplo tan brillante! Digno de anotarse en las páginas de la historia. El genio de la libertad parece estar confiando en su elevado trono, desde donde los contemplantes halagueños nos señalan, diciendo, ahí tenéis a vuestros hermanos, Travis, Bowie, Crockett y otros varios a quienes su valor los coloca en el número de mis héroes. Sí, soldados y conciudadanos, estos son los entes meritorios a quienes el revés de la fortuna en la presente campaña entregó sus cuerpos a la ferocia de sus enemigos, los cuales bárbaramente, semejándolos a los brutos, fueron atados de pies y arrastrados hasta este punto, en donde fueron reducidos a cenizas. Yo os convido a que, poniendo por testigo los venerables restos de nuestros dignos compañeros, digamos al mundo entero, Texas será libre, independiente, o pereceremos con gloria en los combates. Companions in arms, these remains which we have the honor of carrying on our shoulders are those of the valiant heroes who died in the Alamo. Yes, my friends, they preferred to die 1,000 times rather than submit themselves to the tyrant's yoke. What a brilliant example, deserving of being noted in the pages of history. The spirit of liberty appears to be looking out from its elevated throne with its pleasing mien and point to us saying, there are your brothers, Travis, Bowie, Crockett, and others, whose valor places them in the rank of my heroes. Yes, soldiers and fellow citizens, these are the worthy beings who, by twist of fate, during the present campaign, delivered their bodies to the ferocity of their enemies, who barbarously treated them as beasts, were bound by their feet and dragged to this spot, where they were reduced to ashes. The venerable remains of our worthy companions as witnesses, I invite you to declare to the entire world, Texas shall be free and independent, or we shall perish in glorious combat. Colonel Juan N. Seguin, Commandant, San Antonio, Mayor, Texas, Army of the Republic of Texas. And now, ladies and gentlemen, please join us in a moment of silence to remember these brave men. At this time, a volley will be fired in memory of the fallen.
concludes today's Dawn at the Alamo ceremony. But before we go, I would like to extend my heartfelt thanks to David Sutherland for that moving performance of Amazing Grace, and to Frank Martinez. Frank Martinez, a great friend of the Alamo and a gifted violinist. As the 2026 Dawn at the Alamo ceremony comes to a close,
Yeah. Let me get your first name. She's just finishing up. I'm turning. I just realized I wore blue. I just realized when the sun came up. Welcome to my world. This is the story of my life right there.
All right.
Okay, ready? Yeah. All right. First name, last name here.
Eddie Zambrano.
You came out and watched this. What was your impression? I mean, it just ended. What was your impression?
I liked it. It was my first time ever being to one of these. You know, I came here in 1986 for the Sesquicentennial, but I didn't see the program. But I followed, you know, Goliad and San Jacinto. But this is my first time to one of these ceremonies, and I was really impressed. I was moved by it. Yeah.
And so tell me what you think about how they go all out and do all this. What did it make you feel or think?
I had a sense of pride. Really did. I enjoyed. I think they really went all out. You know. Everything that was done there, a lot of people in costume from the day. It just is very good, very well done. Yeah, it's not theatrical, but it's history. Yeah.
And how does it make you feel to be a Texan, to be a local?
I love it. It gives me pride. You know, like they say, Texas, we're a whole nother country, and I think there's something different about us, and we're proud, but we love our state, and we love our country, and we love our history.
All right. Thank you so much,
Yes,
Eddie. It was
yeah.
such a pleasure meeting you.
Yes,
Thank you.
thank you.
All right. Eddie, it was such a pleasure